Welcome to our lesson on quadratic equations. A quadratic equation is an equation of the form ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0, where a, b, and c are constants and is not equal to 0. Here are some examples of quadratic equations. X squared plus 5x plus 6 equals 0, 2x squared minus 7x plus 3 equals 0, negative x squared plus 4x minus 4 equals 0. There are three main methods for solving quadratic equations. Factoring, completing the square, using the quadratic formula, let's explore each method with examples. Let's start with the factoring method. Let's solve x squared plus 5x plus 6 equals 0 by factoring. We need to find two numbers that multiply to give 6 and add up to 5. Those numbers are 2 and 3. So we can factor our equation as x plus 2 times x plus 3 equals 0. Now we can set each factor equal to 0. X plus 2 equals 0, which gives us x equals negative 2. X plus 3 equals 0, which gives us x equals negative 3. So our solutions are x equals negative 2 and x equals negative 3. Next, let's look at the completing the square method. We'll solve x squared minus 6x plus 8 equals 0 by completing the square. First, let's move the constant term to the right side of the equation. X squared minus 6x equals negative 8. To complete the square, we take half the coefficient of x, which is negative 6 divided by 2, which equals negative 3. We then square this number. Negative 3 squared equals 9. Now we add and subtract 9 from the left side. X squared minus 6x plus 9 minus 9 equals negative 8. We can rewrite this as x minus 3 squared minus 9 equals negative 8. Adding 9 to both sides, x minus 3 squared equals 1. Taking the square root of both sides, x minus 3 equals plus or minus 1. Solving for x equals 3 plus or minus 1, which gives us x equals 4 or x equals 2. The third method is using the quadratic formula, which works for any quadratic equation. For a quadratic equation of the form ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0, the quadratic formula gives us x equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac, all divided by 2a. Let's solve 2x squared minus 7x plus 3 equals 0 using the quadratic formula. First, we identify a, b, and c. A equals 2, b equals negative 7, and c equals 3. Now we substitute these values into the quadratic formula. X equals negative of negative 7 plus or minus the square root of negative 7 squared minus 4 times 2 times 3, all divided by 2 times 2. Simplifying, we get x equals 7 plus or minus the square root of 49 minus 24, all divided by 4. This simplifies to x equals 7 plus or minus the square root of 25, all divided by 4. X equals 7 plus or minus 5, all divided by 4. So x equals 7 plus 5 divided by 4, which equals 3, or x equals 7 minus 5 divided by 4, which equals 0.5 or 1/2. Let's visualize quadratic equations graphically. A quadratic equation represents a parabola on a graph. For example, the graph of y equals x squared minus 4x plus 3 is a parabola. The x-intercepts, or zeros, of the parabola are the solutions to the quadratic equation x squared minus 4x plus 3 equals 0. We can factor this to get x squared minus 4x plus 3 equals x minus 3 times x minus 1 equals 0. So the solutions are x equals 3 and x equals 1, which correspond to the x-intercepts of the parabola. Quadratic equations have many real-world applications. For example, the path of a thrown object follows a parabolic trajectory, which can be modeled by a quadratic equation. Another example is in maximizing area under constraint, like finding the dimensions of a rectangle with a fixed perimeter that has the maximum possible area. Quadratic equations are also used in economics to model revenue, profit, and cost functions. To summarize, we've learned about quadratic equations and three methods to solve them. Factoring, which works best when the equation can be easily factored, completing the square, which is useful for converting to vertex form, and the quadratic formula, which works for any quadratic equation. We've also seen how quadratic equations relate to parabolas graphically and their many real-world applications. Thank you for learning about quadratic equations with us.